Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had gonna yagi.
Last thing before we get George on, did you see the Dinks article from Alex that we have a missing deflection testing machine, a $60,000 machine? There's an active police investigation. There was no deflection testing on site at MLP Phoenix this week. Apparently,
Right.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's actually a tag team article Alex and I did together. What transpired was crazy. I had a source tell me, "Hey, doesn't seem to be testing in Phoenix." So this is Thursday, the day we start play in Phoenix. I was like, "There's no way we're not testing for deflection." They're like, "I'm telling you, they're not testing for deflection. They don't know where the machine is." And I was like, "No chance." And I told Alex is our director of digital content. He basically is in charge of all the content at the Dink. And I was like, I know he knows some people at PPL and within Major League Pickleball. So he reached out. All of a sudden, I get a phone call. Yeah. So, long story short, the deflection machine was stolen. Police report has been filed. And I was like, wait, stop. Like, I feel like this is a made up thing that you're just like I'm living in a fairy tale land here at this point, right? And I confirmed with MLP execs. Alex and I talked to MLP execs, PPL execs, UPAA execs. We got the down low from everybody. Basically, the machine, along with all of the tools, along with the computer, was stolen sometime between being loaded in the moving truck from Austin to Phoenix, and a police report was filed. It's being investigated, and as soon as we have more on that, we'll probably break it. But that's where it's at right now, and I just can't believe we're in a time. This is back-to-back weeks where I'm like, we had the OnlyFans pickleball thing, and now we have a stolen deflection test that's worth like $60,000 to $70,000. Like, what type of world do we live in right now, Zane?
Yeah, if anybody finds that one on Craigslist, notify your local authorities. Yeah, but I mean, I do think there's actually a positive out of this. So, like, I don't think I didn't hear complaints, nor did it really appear on stream that anybody was using any ridiculous or tampered with paddles, which leads me to the point that the deterrent, in my opinion, is far more important than the actual like pre event testing. And I think that Travis Rettenmeyer earlier in the year when he challenged Liz Truluck's paddle, I think that's a perfect example. Like, if you come out there with something too hot, you're going to get your paddle challenged. So you can't get away with it. You can't use an egregiously hot paddle just because deflection testing isn't there. We all know what our paddle does sound like and what it actually should sound like, right? We're all unbelievably aware of that. And so the fact that we didn't have too many paddle problems, I think, shows that like we should really just be deterred rather than even testing ahead of time potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I was on site every day, and I talked to a ton of players throughout the event. Like, not one person was like, "Oh, so and so is playing with a hot paddle." Like, that wasn't even a discussion, which leads me to believe that you're right. Like, as long as like it's kind of self controlled. Like, I think all of those players knew, like, hey, if I have one that's close, I'm not going to play with that one. I'll play with a different one.
Right, because if I'm there and I hear somebody with a like a corked sounding paddle, I'm gonna be a million times more trigger happy on my challenges. I'm
For
challenging
sure.
this, I'm challenging that, I'm challenging all of it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I feel like I honestly, in a weird way, feel like not having the testing ahead of time could actually be a good thing, but also I think so. In my opinion, I think we should have the option to test ahead of time just for your
That's what I
own
was going to say.
knowledge.
Yep.
I think each player should have the option. It doesn't matter whether your thing got approved beforehand or not, because as you play with it, or if you manipulate it, you know that it's going to be different, and you have randomized testing after matches as well as the challenge system. And I think that the deterrent is far more important than the actual like preemptive testing. On the other hand, I think where we have the problem more so now is you can't find an amateur player at a PPA event. Like, I think they need to do preemptive testing for the amateur events on deflection and texture and whatnot. That seems like it's more important actually there at this point.
Yeah, I agree, and UPAA along with PPL does agree. They are coming out with forget the name of it, but I talked to PPL leadership, and they have like a little handheld one that is very close to within like 2% accuracy on deflection as like their big machine that is still missing. By the way, MLP Daytona Beach will have the deflection testing back. They owned 3 deflection testing machines. One is always set for headquarters. One was on the road. That's currently missing. And the other one is en route to Daytona Beach. So there will be testing there. But back to the amateurs, they're working on something like that. I could see them easily implementing that in the second half of 2025 or 2026, where, because it's like a quick thing, like you can basically test it within 10 seconds. And I think that would help the amateur game a ton. Because I mean, you've been to PPAs where they have the amateurs there, and like all of a sudden you're walking and you just hear like,
shotgun, you hear a gunshot.
Shotgun,
it's like, oh my God,
and it's like,
PTSD.
oh, I guess that's just a paddle at the 3-5 level. Cool, got it.
Yeah, no, they need it much more there. Yeah, so I think they need a cash bounty. Like if you can find this device and return it, I think whoever finds it should get $10,000 back from UPA.
If that helps, then whatever, right? Like I mean, you need the machine back.
Yeah. Come on, UPA, put out a cash bounty. I mean,
that would be so
that's
funny.
One way that would be kind of great. And it makes sense if they can get the device back for $10,000 as opposed to 60, like, yeah, I think it's got to be an inside job. Who else is going to know what this thing is? Who just goes and takes a random box?
But like, did you see the picture that we posted on our article? Like, it looks like that black case just looks like it's wanting to be stolen. If you're like just like randomly looking through a moving truck, like that thing looks like, oh, that could be important. I have no idea what it is, but it could be important.
Interesting. All right. So last week I told you guys about superpower and how we're actually going to follow along with my superpower journey a little bit here. But superpower is basically a personalized sort of health concierge. Last week, I did my blood test and I got my results back from Superpower, and they're going to be reaching out to me with a coach basically to tell me what my blood is saying. Now, I really, really, really hate needles, but there were some really interesting things in there that I'd really like to, talk to my new Superpower coach again. So Superpower runs over 100 lab tests on everything in your blood, including gut health. They give a personalized game plan, and they have an AI chat so you can dig into the data on your own without a medical degree as well. Like I said, I've got my results coming. Thomas's are on the way. And if you want to see what's really going on inside your own body and get a good knowledge of that, you can head over to superpower.com/start/the dink or hit the link in the description.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had